Hi, I am Aman Jamal. Welcome to IS Baba's Current Affairs Prelims to the Point. I will be taking up 5 topics and 5 MCQs on daily basis which are important from our prelims perspective. So let us start. These are the topics we are going to cover today. Starting with the first news. In the PIB, there was a news about Vidyadan 2.0. So let us see what is important from our prelims perspective. So Ministry of HRD launched Vidyadan 2.0 and this was launched on Diksha. Now what is Diksha? It's a national digital infrastructure for teachers. This aids them to learn and train themselves. Now the community of teachers is created on Diksha and they share content with each other. So Diksha is being used by states, by government bodies, by private organizations also, and it can be used to create in-class resources, teachers training content, news, assessment aids, also teacher community and teacher profile. So Diksha supports 10 languages both for creating and viewing the content. Now about Vidyadan 2.0. This is a e-learning content created to help children to continue their learning even in the lockdown. So this will bring together academicians, organizations and e-learning content creators, and will be monitored by a panel of experts. So this was about Vidyadan 2.0 and Diksha. Moving to the next news, in the Indian Express newspaper, there was a news about Essential Commodities Act and also about hydroxychloroquine. Let us see what is important from our prelims perspective. So we will be studying about Essential Commodity Act. Essential Commodity Act 1955. This ensures easy availability of essential commodities at fair price. So this empowers the government to regulate and control the production, distribution, supply and sale of the essential commodities. So what are these essential commodities? These are drugs, fertilizer, pulses and edible oil, petroleum and petroleum products. And who is the implementing authority here? The state government is the implementing authority under this act. Now something about hydroxychloroquine. So this is a disease modifying anti-rheumatic drug and it works as an interferon blocker. So this diminishes the immune system response to the viral infection. So what happened when there is a viral infection in a body? The immune system responds to it and tries to kill the cell which are infected by the viral infection. When the viral infection increases a lot, the immune system start attacking even the healthy cells also. So it causes a lot of damage. So this hydroxychloroquine, this will regulate the activity of immune system and will soothe this down. So this is also used to treat malaria, lupus erythematosus, rheumatoid arthritis, and this is under the Schedule H1 of Drugs and Cosmetic Rules 1945. So drugs under Schedule H1 have high alcoholic influence and they are sold only with prescriptions. This is also under WHO's list of essential medicines, and ICMR allowed the use of this hydroxychloroquine on asymptomatic patient, and there is study also going on about how this is impacting the COVID-19 patients. Moving to the next news, in the PIB there was a news about electrostatic disinfection technology and about HCARD robot. So let us see what is important from our prelims perspective. First, about electrostatic disinfection technology. So this is based on electrostatic principle and this was made by CSIR, Central Scientific Instrument Organization, Chandigarh. How does this work? So this uses a specialized solution combined with air and atomized by electrode inside this sprayer. So the spray contains positively charged particle and these particles are able to adhere to the surfaces and objects. So even the hard to reach surfaces can be sanitized through this sprayer. So it is also efficient and cost saving and it ensures the optimum utilization of disinfectant. So once a surface is sprayed by this positively charged mist, it adheres to the surface. So if you spray it another time, this will repel from the surface. So this is how optimum utilization of disinfectant is ensured. Now about HCARD, Hospital Care Assistive Robotic Device. This is by Central Mechanical Engineering Research Institute, that is Durgapur. This is a lab of CSIR. So this HCARD is a robot and it will work both on automatic and manual mode. So this is a kind of technological intervention to reduce the impact of COVID-19. So this robot has drawers in which you can keep food and medicines, and this will be taken to the patient. So the interface between the medical staff and the doctors and the patient will be minimum. So this was about electrostatic disinfection technology and HCARD. Now moving to the next news, in the Hindu newspaper there was a news about common services centers. So let us see what is important from our prelims perspective. So these common services centers will now take over the e-commerce in rural areas, and also Uday allowed them to function as the Aadhaar updation facility. So let us see something about common services center. They were launched under the Integrated Mission Mood project of National E-Governance Plan. This National E-Governance Plan was launched in 2006. And these common services centers are considered to be the access point of delivery of various electronic services in villages like e-governance, entertainment, telemedicine, education, etc. So these work as a cornerstone of Digital India program, and they enables the three vision areas of Digital India, which are digital infrastructure, governance and services, and digital empowerment of the citizens. So this will be monitored by Ministry of Electronics and IT. They will be taking up e-commerce role in rural areas, and they will be supplying commodities like milk, vegetable, fruit, pulses, etc. to the villagers. Now the consumer will have to place orders in the centers through special application. Also, Uday has allowed Common Services Center to offer Aadhaar updation facility. So this was about CSCs. Moving to the next news. In the PIB, there was a news about new list of names of tropical cyclones over North Indian Ocean. So worldwide, there are 6 regional specialized meteorological centers and 5 regional tropical cyclone warning centers, and these work under World Meteorological Organization. Now, the Indian Meteorological Department is one of the 6 regional specialized meteorological centers, and they are to provide tropical cyclone and storm surge advisories to 13 member countries. So these member countries are Bangladesh, India, Iran, Maldives, Myanmar, Oman, Pakistan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Sri Lanka, Thailand, United Arab Emirates, and Yemen. So the RSMC New Delhi is mandated to name the tropical cyclones developing over the North Indian Ocean, including the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea. Now something about the naming of tropical cyclone. Why do we want to name the tropical cyclones? Because it helps the scientific community, disaster managers, media and general masses to identify the each individual cyclone, create awareness for its development, remove the confusion in case of simultaneous occurrence of the tropical cyclones. Also, the remember tropical cyclones names easily. So these are the reasons for naming it. Now, what are the criteria adopted for selection of name? So the proposed name should be neutral, that is, it should not be political or religious or about any culture or gender. The name should be chosen in such way that it does not hurt the sentiment of any group of population. It should also not be rude or cruel in nature. It should be short and easy to pronounce, and it should not be offensive. The maximum length of the name will be 8 letters. So it should be 8 or less than 8 letters. And the proposed name should be provided along with pronunciation and voiceover. So panel reserves the right to reject any name. The names of tropical cyclones over North Indian Ocean, they will not be repeated. So once if it will be used, it will cease to be used again. So number of exhaustive lists are created and they are taken up one by one. So here you can see how the list of names are there. This is there. So recently this was the 45th session of the panel on tropical cyclone PTC. So a list of names like this is prepared, and this list when exhausted, a new list is taken up. So the current list which is made, it contains name contributed by 13 countries, and the rules should be followed. for fixing the names. Each tropical cyclone basin has own rotating list of names. So this was about the naming of the cyclone and about the regional specialized meteorological centers. Now let us see why the east coast of India is more vulnerable to the tropical cyclones than the western coast. So the reason is that the sea surface temperature in the late summers, this temperature of Arabian Sea is comparatively lower than the Bay of Bengal, and warm sea surface is an ideal condition for formation of tropical cyclone. So this is one reason. Also the other reason is in Bay of Bengal, origination of the cyclone which has happened there is present. Also this is accompanied by the breakaway typhoons from the northwest Pacific which moves across the South China Sea, and this enters the Bay of Bengal. While what happens in Arabian Sea, the cyclones are mostly their own formation, and also they generally move northwest away from the India's western coast. So this is the reason why there are more tropical cyclone in the Bay of Bengal region than the Arabian Sea region, and we have also seen about the naming of the cyclones. Now we have seen 5 current topics that are relevant from our prelims perspective. Now let us move to the MCQ. So our first MCQ, what is the difference between an electrostatic force and electromagnetic force? So we read about electrostatic disinfectant technology which was based on electrostatic force. So let us see the MCQ. Statement 1, electrostatic force is the force between charges which are not moving relative to each other. Statement 2, electromagnetic force is the force between charges and the magnetic field where they may be moving. Statement 3, electromagnetic force can be created without an electric field. Statement 4, electromagnetic forces include electrostatic force. So the statement 1 and 2 gives the definition of electrostatic and electromagnetic force. Both the statement are correct. Statement 3, electromagnetic force cannot be created without an electric field. It can be created without a magnetic field using magnets and all, but it cannot be created without an electric field. So statement 3 is incorrect. Statement 4 is correct. Electromagnetic forces also include the electrostatic force. So our answer will be 1, 2 and 4. So that is option D. Moving to the next MCQ. Match the following. So we have studied about naming of the cyclones. So let us see this MCQ. Match the following: Typhoon Pacific Ocean, Hurricane Atlantic Ocean, Willy Willy's USA. Which of the above is matched correctly? Now let us see first the third one. Willy Willy's. Willy Willy's are not in USA. These are formed in northwestern Australia. So this option is incorrect. Now about option second, Hurricane Atlantic Ocean. So hurricane are formed in Atlantic Ocean. So this option is correct. Now about option 1, typhoon, that is Pacific Ocean. So yes, typhoon are formed in China Sea and Pacific Ocean. So this option is also correct. Now tornadoes are formed in southern USA. So we should also know this, and our answer here will be 1 and 2. These both are matched correctly. So our answer is B. Moving to the next MCQ, consider the following statement about e-platform Diksha. Statement first, it is a national digital infrastructure for teachers to aid them to learn and train themselves. Statement 2, Vidyadan 2.0 was launched recently on Diksha to aid the students learn amidst the lockdown due to COVID-19. Which of the above statement is our correct? So we have studied about Diksha and Vidyadan 2.0, and we know both the statement are correct here. So our option will be C, both 1 and 2. Moving to the next MCQ. Consider the following statement about Essential Commodities Act 1955. Statement 1. This act ensures availability of essential commodities at fair price. Statement 2. The implementing authority under this act is the central government. So we have studied about the Essential Commodities Act 1955, and we know statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect as the implementing authority under this act is the state government. So only statement first is correct. Our answer will be A, 1 only. Moving to the next MCQ. Consider the following statement about common services centers. This is our last MCQ. Statement first, it was launched under the Integrated Mission Moot project of National E-Governance Plan. Statement 2, recently Uday allowed CSCs to offer facility of Aadhaar updation. Statement 3, originally CSCs were open to supply ration to the villagers along with keeping an eye on the leakages through blockchain technology. So we have studied about Common Services Center and we know that statement first and second are correct, but statement third is incorrect. So our option will be 1 and 2 only, that is B. We have seen 5 topics and 5 MCQs based on these topics. That is all for today. Thank you so much. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get notified.